When it comes to saving the planet, the talk of renewable energy always seems to crop up in conversation, with the UK already having the greatest number of wind turbines in the world at 11,000 and the government stating to increase this amount by another 11,000 by 2030, approximately 50 gigawatts. It is safe to say that renewable energy is being favoured as the best method of meeting energy demands for the nation. I wanted to find out exactly what the implications may be of such a rapid deployment of wind turbines, and ultimately, what improvements could we make in the process of generating power to reduce our impact on the environment. To have a better understanding of exactly how wind turbines affect the environment, I first had to research all of the factors that may be affected by them. Currently, onshore wind turbines have been banned in the UK since 2014. Mostly for reasons such as that they require anywhere between 25 and 40 acres of land per turbine, and that they can be disruptive to habitats of above and below ground animals, creating problems with foraging and the habitat in general. However, it's worth noting that modern wind turbines have been designed with measures to mitigate against these impacts, such as adjusting the location and height of turbines to minimise bird collisions. In a 2019 study consisting of 1,494 residents living at an average distance of 2.72 kilometres from a wind turbine, 10.9% reported that they could hear noise pollution from outside of their homes. Whereas in Europe, 41% of 671 residents living at an average distance of 1.74 kilometres from a wind turbine reported noise pollution from their homes. The same study investigated the effects of shadow light flicker from wind turbines and surprisingly reported no significant results. In a study from 2017, it was reported that in built-up areas, noise pollution from wind turbines was significantly reduced, which could mean that noise pollution from wind turbines may not be that big of an issue if effective calculations are made in the noise propagation from them. In a 2015 research article published by the London School of Economics and Spatial Economics Research Centre, it was found that large wind farms within a 2-kilometre radius depreciated the value of UK houses by an average of 12%, and an average depreciation of 4.5% for houses within 8 to 14 kilometres of a wind turbine. Comparatively, smaller scale wind farms were found to depreciate the value of houses by 5% within a 2-kilometre radius. Regarding the environmental impact of wind turbines on wildlife and the natural ecosystem, a study from 2019 was conducted using a fine-scale spatial longitudinal dataset for 86 bird observational routes over 36 states between 2008 and 2014 found that the addition of a singular wind turbine on average leads to the disappearance of 3 breeding birds. This amounted to a total loss of 150,000 breeding birds. The biggest problem with onshore wind turbines in the UK is often the opposition of local communities, who are concerned about the visual impact and potential noise pollution of wind farms. This often leads to planning permission being denied, delaying or preventing the construction of new wind farms, and generally a lot of contingency, so the government decided to ban the lot. Although onshore wind turbines have been banned in the UK since 2014, a survey carried out in 2021 suggested that 80% of people still support onshore wind farms, which sounds like quite a lot considering the unnecessary distress they cause to the environment. There must be another reason why so many people still support onshore wind turbines. Could it be that they produce more power, or is it simply a matter of cost? Well, it turns out onshore wind turbines are generally more inconsistent with their energy output compared to offshore wind turbines, which is a pretty big factor when it comes to managing power generation and demand. The more inconsistent an energy source's output is, the more we have to rely on energy storage systems such as pumped storage, where water is pumped to the top of a dam so it can be converted from potential energy into electrical power when needed, which is extremely costly. However, offshore wind turbines are a lot more consistent with their energy output, since they do not have any surrounding landscape that could cause unpredictability in wind direction and speed, resulting in higher yields of power as opposed to onshore wind turbines. It seems the only advantage to onshore wind turbines as opposed to offshore wind turbines is that they are considerably cheaper to build and maintain as opposed to offshore wind turbines, with offshore turbines costing approximately 24% more in overall costs. In 2020, Hornsea Project 1 was completed, making it the largest offshore wind farm in the world, adding approximately 1.2 gigawatts of power to the grid, enough to power 3.2 million homes, and costing a whopping £4.2 billion. This may sound like quite a lot, However, this is still almost half the price per gigawatt when compared to the currently under construction nuclear power plant Hinkley Point C, which has costed £25 billion so far and counting, with an estimated output of 3.5 gigawatts. However, it is not fair to make an outright comparison of wind and nuclear power for one key reason, and that is their efficiency. Since most conventional renewable sources only generate power when either the sun is shining or when the wind is blowing, approximately 10% of the time, there is an inherent unpredictability of when renewable sources will become online, which can result in losses of energy, since to allow power generated by renewable sources onto the grid, there often must be a reduction in production from other sources of energy, to allow for a constancy in meeting energy demand. Alternatively, this energy can be stored using systems such as pumped storage. However, there seems to be a disadvantage with each method of storing energy, from extortionate cost to a limited capacity and reliability. When storage is not possible, the energy generated by renewables will often be allowed onto the grid, whilst the output of high CO2 sources such as fossil fuels will be reduced. However, the practicality of decreasing the energy output of fossil fuels can be limited, since it is not always practical nor efficient to turn off furnaces, since to heat them up again can take almost 10 hours. Because of the inherent unpredictability associated with renewables, there will always be the need of sources that have a certainty of constancy in generation, such as nuclear power, coal, oil and gas. Diversification of how we generate electricity helps ensure that power demands will be met in the event that any one or more of them go offline.